And away we go. It is the nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com. Excuse me. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends at Hail Mary's. They're located in Cheviot on Harrison Avenue. They're in the Dora District. You can walk from bar to bar with your drinks, or you can stay at Hail Mary's. They've got 27 TVs, a 9-screen video wall. There's not a bad seat in the house. They subscribe to every sports package that DirecTV offers. They can stream all the games. And if you ask them nicely, maybe Cincinnati sports won't always be on the video wall. The walk-in cooler is brand new. The draft lines are brand new. And not only do they pour the coldest Cincy light around, but they do so in 32.8-degree beer frosted glasses. You wanna see my my favorite tweet of the night, Aaron? Or of the day? I will show you. There you go. There it is.
That's how I feel every Tuesday, talking about not just the Bearcats, but everyone.
Jeffrey M. Fine. Well done. You win tweet of the day. Get that man a Cincy. I might get that man a Cincy light. This show, though, we are not talking about the Bearcats. We are talking about a stupid day in the Big 12, weekend in the Big 12. I guess the only other thing I'd ask you, Aaron, who's having a worse weekend? UC basketball fans or Dallas Maverick fans?
Well, you see, the Dallas Maverick fans are probably also Dallas Cowboy fans, which means they might also be Laker fans, which means they might also be Yankee fans. So could be not so bad for Dallas fans.
Fair. All right, let's get it started. Stunner in Ames as Kansas State drills Iowa State 80-61. It was 37-35 at the half. The second half of games yesterday, just wild. We'll get to that more in a bit. But 43-26 in the second half. Kansas State finally starting to look like the team we expected them to be in the preseason. Seeing your team wake up and realize their potential. What's that like?
I don't know how to answer that, but as for Iowa State, look, Taman Lipsey starts actually getting points, and they start losing games. So maybe they need Taman Lipsey to just go into a funk because since he's been scoring, they are not doing so well.
Well, Curtis Jones, 4 of 15 from the floor. He got 14 points, but on 15 shots. Keyshawn Gilbert, 3 of 9, 1 of 3 from 3. Those two guys, 3 of 9 from 3. The guys that were giving them exceptional guard play, Jones, Gilbert, not getting it done right now. Josh Jefferson was okay, 5 of 9. He did hit both of his threes. He had 13. But all 5 starters in double figures for Kansas State, and they're starting to look like the team we expected them to be.
Certainly looking like the team that beat Cincinnati.
They looked a lot better than that. I mean, that game was ugly. They had no business winning that game. Cincinnati just stunk. And Gesson with 10. Hawkins with 17 and 7, added 3 assists and 4 steals. Max Jones with 12, Doug McDaniel with 20, Brendan Housen with 15 for Kansas State as they get a shocker. Iowa State now 7-3 in the Big 12, and you start asking some questions about Iowa State that I didn't think we would be asking as we go into February. Texas Tech Houston. Maybe one of the worst flagrant twos in the history of basketball. 4 minutes into the game, JT Toppin goes to throw a pass from the right side of the floor over to the left side of the floor. He jumps. As he throws it, his left leg kick or his right leg kicks out, trying to get a little bit more oomph on it. It was the least intentional shot to the groin that I've ever seen. And somehow, in his infinite wisdom, Kip Kissinger and crew, after all three looked at it, decided to eject JT Thompson. If you want to give him a flagrant one, I wouldn't have agreed with it. But there was no way you looked at that and thought that was intentional. No way. And instead, they eject him. Grant McCaskill finally sees the video on the sideline. He loses his goddamn mind, as he should have. He gets ejected. So for 36 minutes, Texas Tech was without their coach and without their best player, and they beat Houston at Houston in overtime, 82-81. Chance McMillan was electric with 23. I kind of love Texas Tech.
Maybe the most ultimate ball don't lie moment, though, where Juwan Roberts, with the ball in his hand to potentially win the game, gets the travel call.
Yeah.
With what, 1.5 or something like that left on the clock?
1.5 seconds left. He traveled. Yeah, we were getting ready to record the West Virginia preview as it was happening, where I did not say Cincinnati was going to win today. It's not what I said yesterday.
And Juwan Roberts ends up blowing the game. Their leader, who's been their leader for, 14 seasons or something like that. So
yeah,
you hate to see it.
McMillan, like I said, with 23, Elijah Hawkins with 17, Kerwin Walton with 14, Darion Williams with 13. JT Toppin didn't score. Christian Anderson had 10, by the way. JT Toppin did not score. And Texas Tech still snaps Houston's 27 or whatever it was game losing streak or home winning streak. LJ Cryer with 22, Juwan Roberts with 18, Milos Uzan with 10. It is not enough. And Texas Tech surging. They are now 8-2 in Big 12 play, ahead of Iowa State. Like they're ahead of Kansas. They're just behind Arizona and Houston at the top of the Big 12. So hat tip to Grant McCaskill. That's it's a fun team to watch, and they are getting it cooking at the right time. It feels like a what if, Aaron. That was a team that was expected to be right there with Cincinnati, just outside that top group. Cincinnati is all the way now at 2-8, and Texas Tech is at 8-2. And when we watch those two teams play, there were times in that game where it felt like they were playing a different sport.
I think Houston drops out of the top. I don't know that they'll drop out of the top 10. I think Iowa State drops out of the top 10.
Yeah, I think Iowa State's at 3, though. And everybody lost in the top 10. So they'll probably stay in the top 10, but pretty much, most of the top 10 lost. Most of the top 10 lost.
Texas Tech might be flirting with top 15.
They're getting there. Auburn won, Duke won, Iowa State lost, Alabama won, Florida lost, but it was to Tennessee. Houston lost, Michigan State lost, Marquette lost, Kansas lost. Like the top 11 took a bloodbath yesterday.
But Iowa State lost 2.
Yeah, they did. They might fall out of the top 10, but I think it's going to be close. If I had to guess, I would guess they stick at 9.
8. Uh-oh. Well, I've lost Chad, so we'll keep this thing moving. Next game we will talk about. Let's go with BYU UCF. That game, BYU beats UCF 81-75. And in that game, BYU UCF 81-75. In that game, Richie Saunders with 22. He leads all scorers, despite Keyshawn Hall's 20 for UCF. But BYU gets the job done in Orlando. And Trevin Knell, of course, 4 of 9, 4 of 7 from 3 with his 15. Just he did enough to contribute to the win, but not shooting lights out. Just
4 of 9's pretty dang good.
Not ever going to be the game against Cincinnati 2 seasons.
Right.
Last season.
That's why it's called a career night.
And that's why we continue to bring it up here on this show.
You continue to bring it up here on this show.
Well,
you didn't do Baylor, Kansas, did you? Because this is one of the wildest things I've ever
only
seen.
did BYU, UCF. Anything that you want to add there?
No, good. BYU is playing well, and I think they're going to end up climbing the rankings. I don't think they are going to be down where they're at. I mean, they're 6-4, but I think the next 10 are going to be better than 6-4 for BYU. I think that's a team that is ascending, not plummeting, not crashing. Kansas Baylor. Kansas led this game, Aaron, 40-21 at halftime. They were up 19 on Baylor. They lose the second half 60-30. I don't know, in a high major game against two really good teams, and Kansas is number 11 coming into this game, that I have seen a team give up 60 in a half.
That's crazy.
Like Baylor put on Kansas yesterday. Unbelievable.
What did BYU put up against Cincinnati in that second half?
52.
Yeah.
8 points less. Think about how easily BYU scored that entire second half, and Baylor scored 8 more points.
That's crazy.
Over 20 minutes. 20 minutes, 60 points, Aaron. 3 points a minute. 3 points a minute.
25 of 28 from the line will help.
25 of 58 from the floor. 6 of 20 from 3. It doesn't look incredible. But again,
40
25
rebounds.
of 28 from the free throw line. That's going to get you. It's going to get you.
40 rebounds, 11 of those offensive.
Yeah. 40-27, Baylor beat Kansas on the glass.
Crazy.
I mean, I saw the score of that one at the volleyball tournament, like in the late first half, and I was like, "Oh, well, that one's we can put that one in the books. I don't really need to, keep, because I'm monitoring all the games for the purpose of this show. We don't need to really worry too much about Kansas Baylor." And then you look back down, and Baylor is just rolling. Robert Wright, who hadn't played much, gets 24. 9 of 16 from the floor. 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Well done, young man. Norchad Omir with 18. VJ Edgecombe, who I believe left with an injury in the second half, which is something to monitor. He had 14. Ojawuna had 11. And Jalen Celestine with 12. I'm so sick of reading off these scores where like 5 guys score in double digits and Cincinnati has 1 guy with 10 and nobody else crosses the barrier. Hunter Dickinson, 20. DeJuan Harris, 12. Rylan Griffin, 11. Those are your only double-digit scorers for the Jayhawks. And that's a big win for that Baylor resume.
Yeah, Flory Badunga, I don't know what was going on with him. Only 15 minutes played, no rebounds, only 2 points. It's a weird stat line for him. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're with me, also frustrated with all of the players scoring in double digits. It's maddening. Absolutely maddening.
Arizona beats Arizona State 81-72.
Weird game.
Caleb Love with 27, 6, and 7. Close at halftime. Arizona pulled away in the second half. There was an incident late. BJ Freeman headbutts Caleb Love. Both players ejected. Bobby Hurley in the postgame goes off on Caleb Love and basically said, I've got a vote for Big 12 All Conference, and I can tell you who will not be getting my vote. Caleb Love.
Leave it to those Hurleys. No surprise there that They're just unhinged. I don't know.
Unhinged.
I don't know what happened with that entire family growing up, that they're just legitimate crazy people when they're on the court. But my goodness.
So Aaron, here's what I would do. If you want to enlighten yourself, go watch the documentary on their dad.
Their dad, and I'm sure it stems from there, but he's recognized as a great coach.
He's recognized as maybe the greatest high school coach in the history of high school basketball. But just watch Bob Hurley Sr. coach high school basketball, and you'll understand.
That ball gets tipped off, and all of the screws come loose. All of them.
But Arizona, 9-1 in the Big 12, 15-6 overall. They continue to play really, really good basketball out in the desert. They are now tied with Houston atop the league. Oklahoma State, 81-72 over Utah. Utah stinks. I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, Oklahoma State also stinks.
Right. But that's how bad Utah stinks. Is that Oklahoma State put up 81 and won comfortably. They put 41 in the first half and 40 in the second. They win comfortably over Utah. Ugh.
Do you find it weird? Well, Gabe Madsen, 5 of 15, 4 of 13 from 3 for his 15 points. That's a terrible stat line. But do you find it weird that Mason played in this game but did not play against Cincinnati?
Not really.
Just too emotional for him?
I think so. I think that's a fair assessment of the situation.
Interesting.
I'll tell you a story when we get off air.
Can't wait.
And then today, outside of the Bloody Sunday at Fifth Third Arena, Colorado fails to get their first Big 12 win. They make it through the first half of Big 12 play completely scathed. If you're unscathed when you're undefeated, I think they are the definition of scathed. They are 0-10 in the conference, defeated. And TCU wins 68-57.
Yeah, I don't know that we need to get into any of those stat lines there.
Real quick, looking at what's coming up this week. A huge one tomorrow night, 9:00 on ESPN. I will be watching this and not paying any attention to the second half of the BBP tomorrow. We do have a guest tomorrow, Aaron.
Well, that'll be great. You will not be super involved in the first segment because it's a guest where you generally let us run the show. And then the second segment, when we need you because, mailbag and such, you're checked out. It'll be like doing a show. It'll be like doing a show with Dave. Just kidding.
I will have my eye on the TV screen, especially the first half, as Iowa State at Kansas, both teams coming off of bad losses. I think it's fair to say. You have 60.5. It's a bad loss. And Iowa State got spanked by a very average Kansas State team. So I will be keeping an eye on that one tomorrow night. By the way, our guest, Jordan Bishel. Nice. The baseball coach. Our spring preview series. Yeah, our spring preview series continues tomorrow night with Jordan Bishel.
We are doing anything we can not to talk about basketball. You're welcome.
Yeah. Tuesday, Oklahoma State at Houston. Poor Oklahoma State.
Yep.
What do you think?
Yep.
35? 40?
I think 28.
28? That's fair. Baylor at Texas Tech. Looking forward to that one. Kansas State at Arizona State. Arizona at BYU. That is your Tuesday slate. And then Wednesday, 3 games on the docket for you. Cincinnati, UCF, West Virginia, TCU, and Colorado, Utah.
Whole bunch of stinkers on Wednesday.
Lots of stinkers. Stinkers everywhere.
Real quick, just to update you on standings here, we got tied at the top after the loss by Houston. Houston and Arizona, they're tied at first. Texas Tech alone at 3rd at 8-2. Iowa State in 4th, 7-3. BYU and Kansas tied it, and Baylor tied for 5th. West Virginia at 5-5. UCF and Utah and TCU and Kansas State all tied at 4-6. Arizona State and Oklahoma State there at 3-7. Cincinnati all the way down at 15, 2-8. And Colorado remains defeated, 0-10. So could be worse.
We're not last. We're not last. We're not last. That's the nightcap. We'll see you for the BBP tomorrow night. Jordan Bishel joins us. This show brought to you by Hail Marys, live from the Cincy Light Studios, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!